Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is Women Empowerment Wednesday. And as usual, I am so excited. We have done the work to bring an amazing show. And as you know, Women Empowerment Wednesday was founded by me and my company, 3D Strategic Management. The whole purpose of Women Empowerment Wednesday is to bring you speakers to deal with the whole woman. We know that if you're a business owner, if you're looking into business, if you currently own a business, that it's more to you than just contracts, right? We're looking at the holistic part of a woman, your health, your mental health, your physical health, your beauty, everything that you need to be successful. I've thought about, I dream about, I stew over because I know that this is my purpose that God gave me to bring you women that will empower you. Different women each month, different type of women at different phases and stages of their lives, different ethnicities, different ages. I think about these things and how they integrate to make you a better business woman and a better woman in all. So let's get started. I always start with a couple of things that I want to go over with you just before we kick off. And so the first two things are very important as I thought about what do I want to say to you, just a one-on-one time with me and with you. And first, it is National Breast Cancer Month. October is National Breast Cancer Month. Ladies, it is very important that every year, you go and you get tested and you get checked. Let me give you some stats just to make sure you understand how serious it is. For minority women are more likely to be advanced breast cancer when they're first discovered because we don't go get tested when we turn 30. Okay, so please go get tested, especially if you have a history in your family. White women are more likely to get breast cancer. African-American women are more likely to die from it. So what are the stats? The stats are white women are looking at 13%, African-American 12%, Asian American 11%, and Hispanic American 11%. What does that say? That there's a slim margin. But what we do know is that it equally affects all of us. No one is immune. And the only way that we can make sure that you build this legacy that we're working so hard for our children and our grandchildren and to be able to enjoy it with them is to go get tested. So for me, please, there are a lot of different resources. If you don't know those resources, you can call our office and we can tell you some places that you can go get tested for as little as $30. Some places are free. So please contact us, get tested. I want to love on you for a long time. And I know your family wants to also. Second, let's talk about diversifying. If you are a woman, you already know about mom, your friend, you may be in a sorority, you may be in a church, you may be doing a lot of different things. So you already know how to diversify. Transition that into your business. So I have a question for you. Who is the wealthiest female entertainer? Think about it. Who's the wealthiest female entertainer? And you can actually chime in to our chat. But I'm going to give you a second to think about all of the dynamic women entertainers across the world. What do you say? Ladies, are you saying Madonna? Are you saying Celine Dion? Are you saying Taylor Swift? Are you saying Beyonce? Are you going back to Diana Ross? What are some of the names that you're thinking about when you think of the wealthiest female entertainer right now? Did you say Rihanna? Well, if you didn't say Rihanna, you were wrong. It is Rihanna. Rihanna currently has a net worth of $600 million. Yes, Rihanna, 31-year-old Rihanna. How does she amass this wealth? Well, she diversified. In 2018, Rihanna was ranked 15th, the 15th highest paid entertainer in 2018. Let me tell you the difference a year can make. And in Rihanna's case, the difference 2 years can make. So it's all in how you diversify. She has not done a concert since 2016, a tour since 2016. And how does she amass $600 million? And so that you understand how impressive that is. The next person under her is Madonna at 570 million. Celine Dion is 450 million, which is 150 million less than Rihanna. And Beyonce, we all know Beyonce, but Beyonce's net worth is 200 million less than Rihanna. How does she do it? She diversified. So not only can she sing, but she also has partnered with Puma. Recently, she partnered with LVMH. You may know LMBH by Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior. She also have her Savage X Fenty line and a couple of other ones. So what she decided to do is take that name, that brand, that sassy edge, that around the way girl, everything that who she is, and she diversified it across different platforms and brands. She has not performed in 4 years, and that's how we know her. $600 million. So I encourage you, women, if you have a business, think about how you can transition your gift, your purpose over different categories. Okay. So I want to leave you with this before we go to our first break and before we bring in our first speaker. This is from Rihanna. Women are forces of the earth. We are multifaceted. We are complex. We are vulnerable, yet bulletproof. And her brand speaks to every woman. So when you think about who you are and how you diversify your business and how you're growing your business, think about how can you leverage that. Our first commercial break is from Women Empowerment Wednesday, and it's some highlights. And I'm very excited. So I'll see you in a moment.
"3D Strategic Management" is proud to present Women Empowerment Wednesdays. It is all about you, the amazing entrepreneur, her. The Women Empowerment Wednesday series is designed for all business owners.
I think in your 20s, you're trying to figure out who you are, right? Who is this person in this time? And to the entrepreneurs, when you get in your 30s, you're learning who you are. You're embracing, you're like, you know what? I do have a bright light. That's just my personality, right? Or I am an introvert, and that's okay to be an introvert. And then when you get in your 40s, you're like, oh, I love this chick. Like, I love this woman. Like,
you embrace her.
She's phenomenal, right? And I'm hearing when I talk to women in their 50s, they're like, oh, I'm bad. Like, not only do I love, but I'm taking you to the next step. I'm bad.
Every third Wednesday of each month, 3D Strategic Management owner and CEO Kimberly Rozier Jean-Louis gracefully moderates a panel of top industry speakers from Fortune 1000 companies, large government agencies, and local resource partners on powerful topics addressing the whole woman.
Okay, so as we know, time is the biggest commodity.
It is.
And so most of my busy entrepreneurs are kind of like, I don't have time. I don't have time for myself. And the problem with that is if you don't take care of your health, you're eventually going to suffer, and your business is going to suffer because you have to be the best you can be, both mentally and physically, in order to execute your business the best that you can.
Including the mind, body, and soul. You are not your best you if you have not mastered balance. Kimberly Rozier Jean-Louis and the 3D Strategic Management brand is passionate about highlighting issues, concerns, and stimulating the working entrepreneur with tools to continue successfully thriving personally and professionally.
You need to understand, in order for you to grow, you need to bring the right people to your company.
Yeah.
It's going to be well spent money, so don't be afraid because they're going to bring you more money.
The program is high energy and sure to keep you engaged from beginning to end.
You were one when you needed the money, but now you're not. Now they're suing you. Wait a minute.
When you need the money,
we're best friends.
I don't know who that is.
We invite you to attend our next series. You can register by visiting www.3dstrategicmanagement.com.
All right, we are back, and I'm so excited to have our first panelist. I actually met her last month when she did my makeup, and I'm fabulous today because she did my makeup again today. This is Jaquil J. Tyson, and I'm excited to have you here for a lot of reasons, but I want you to tell them your story.
Okay. So, hey, my name is Miss J, like everyone calls me. I started doing makeup about 9.5 years ago. I actually was doing it on the side. I was working as a claims adjuster.
Okay.
fresh out of college. And as a claims adjuster, it was a great job, paid well, but there was a part of me that was always pulling me in the direction of beauty, pulling me in the direction of entrepreneurship. But I fought it, honestly.
Mhm.
I fought it for a very long time. And it got to the point where I would get calls, referrals coming into me for weddings, for birthdays.
Mhm.
And as they were coming in, I found myself busy with my 9 to 5, unable to fulfill what I actually wanted.
Mhm.
I would refer these clients to other makeup artists, other beauty professionals. And the more I referred them, the more they kept calling. And it was as if God was trying to tell me, you can keep referring them and I'm going to keep sending them.
You can't run.
You can't run. So, in December of 2014, honestly, I woke up one morning and I prayed about it. And I said, Lord, if this is the path that you want me on, then all I ask is that you order my steps and I relinquish all control. That honestly was my prayer, because I knew once I took that step, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
I knew what I wanted. I
Yeah.
knew what the vision was, but I didn't know what I was necessarily doing. But I knew everything was pulling me in that direction. And I remember talking to my boss at the time, who is a great friend of mine to this day,
Good.
and also a client to this day. And she was like, you know what, Jay, if this is what you want to do, go after it. And even having that support was a great thing. It was great. Talked to my husband about it. And he was like, babe, whatever makes you happy,
That's good.
that's what makes me happy. So that's my best friend right there, my husband. And so I turned in my 2-week notice and took that step out on faith. January of 2015, I found this space. It was actually in Oviedo, East Orlando. And I started renting a little room. I was doing makeup, facials. And my first month, I remember I had only made like $200. And I was thinking to myself, okay, Lord,
You told me to get out the boat.
right. What's happening
I got
here?
out the boat.
Right. What is this?
I'm still struggling out
Right.
here outside the boat.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So, that was my first month. And I'm thinking, oh man, did I make the right decision? Did I make the right choice? Because I'm still a wife, I'm still a mom.
Right.
I cut our household income in half.
Yes.
I still have a mortgage,
Yes.
bills, student loans.
Life still goes on.
Life is still going on. And what's crazy is that in the midst of that, then my dad passes away. So here it is. Thank you. Here it is. Another life happening.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking to myself,
How much more can I take?
how much more can I take in the beginning of my transition? And as I continued on the journey that year specifically, I talk about my first year because in the middle, and he definitely was in the middle. So I'm so excited to be here today. So thank you.
I'm excited for your journey, and I was listening and I read your resume. We've had a chance to talk before, and one of the things that I'm very, very key on is when I talk to women businesses is that 2 things are going to happen.
Yeah.
One, you're going to get this feeling that you need change. You need to walk in the direction of your passion. Because your passion is your purpose.
Yes.
And I say that all the time.
Yes.
You will know because it's something, it's just pulling you.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing I say to people all the time, and I'm very transparent, is that when you step out, then it's going to be hard at first.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost like you have to go through a desert before you get to the Emerald City.
Yes.
Everyone
Yes.
has to go
Well
through some
said.
type of desert.
Well said.
And so for you, to be able to take a hit to your family financially, everyone felt that.
Yeah.
And then to lose a parent is monumental.
Yeah.
That's where, those one of those life events that just kind of set you back for a while.
Yes. Because now
And-
you're emotionally set back too as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but you kept going.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about the things that we're going to talk about today. And you also have a business school. So we're going to talk about that too. You got a lot going on. So working in this industry, you do face-to-face contact with your clients. I know that had to have hit your business. What practices have you incorporated in your business plan? I know you had to go back. Your business, and then what did you do to survive the pandemic?
So, in the beginning when the pandemic first happened, everyone was kind of waiting to see, okay, what's going to happen next? Just before they closed the state down, I had a conversation with my husband, and we were just trying to put things into place. You don't know what you're planning for until it happens, and then you're like, oh, okay, we got this, we're covered here.
Correct.
But around March is when everything's kind of closed down. And I was actually, it's so crazy how this all worked. I was actually in another location at the time, a smaller location. And I remember saying to myself, okay, what do I do? Do I close my doors? Do I stay open? Do I, continue marketing? And the first thing that for me, continue marketing. That was honestly one of my first things. Don't stop.
Right.
I have online classes that I offer now because of the pandemic. It pushed me in that direction.
Yes.
It's about finding other streams of revenue.
Diversifying, like I talked about before.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I took some of the classes that I offer in person and I transitioned them to online. So that was really great because then I had students from Nigeria and other states.
Yeah, still doing business.
Doing my business. As far as my clients who come in face to face, I had text messages coming in. Hey Jay, what do I do about my skincare? What do I do about makeup? And being able to give them advice over the phone.
There you go.
Going online through social media, interacting with different clients and my followers that way, and giving them little tips and tricks throughout the process. Because even though we're going through a pandemic, we still want to feel amazing. We still want to feel beautiful.
Yes.
And I always love to have a very intimate relationship with my clients and my followers too. I love what I do. I love talking to women. I love engaging with women. So it was really great to be able to still engage with them and give them tips on a daily basis. When it came to just the overall feel of the spa and making sure that, following COVID-19 protocol and whatnot, being in the beauty industry, a lot of people don't know, but a lot of our continuing education is around cleanliness.
Right.
One of the things that they do when they come in for a state inspection is check to see what cleaning supplies you have.
Right.
How are you keeping this place in a standard where sanitized and clients are comfortable and they won't have to worry about any sort of cross contamination. So we already had those things in place, but then just making sure to ramp it up a little bit more. So if we washed our hands before, we're washing them a little bit more now. The sanitizer available to not only ourselves but our clients as well. So just making sure we implement that. In the midst of the process, around June, I had actually started looking for a new location prior to the pandemic. And again, that keep going.
Right, keep going.
Keep pushing. Ended up finding a new location, a bigger location. God blessed me with increase. And
in the midst of a storm.
In the midst of a storm.
Okay.
And this
all right,
is why.
come through. Come through, Jesus.
Right. And this is why I say again, trust the process. Because even in the midst of the storm, God can say, oh, hold up. I'm going to protect you from all of this and put you here.
I'm a part the Red Sea.
And he really did. He really did. So that in itself was a blessing. So even having that bigger space for when we did reopen, my clients were able to come into this new space. They were excited. I was excited. I've cried enough. Every time I put my keys in the door to this day, I'm just like, wow, Lord, for me,
For
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so excited about that testimony because a lot of people now are trying to figure out, what do I do and how do I change? And one of the things I heard you say is that you already had some things in place,
Yeah.
right? But then you just thought about how you still can provide the same services.
Yeah.
It's just virtually or a different way.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that you provide excellent customer service. From the first
Thank
time I
you.
sat down with you, I felt like we were best friends by the time we left.
Yeah,
like I was like, when
man.
we gonna go have our
I'm
girls'
telling
weekend?
you. I'm telling you.
And I'm like,
yes.
I just met her. So you give everyone a really warm experience.
Thank you.
So you're a wife, a mom, a business owner, an author. You have a cosmetics line, and you have a lot of certifications, which causes you to have continuing education. There's this thing that I always want to talk to everyone about, and that's called balance. Does that work for you? Have you found balance, or what are you doing to make sure that you're successful in all of these things? And a wife, yes, a wife.
So remember I told you about my prayer earlier when I first decided to turn in my 2-week notice. Part of that prayer was also I said to God, wherever you take me, make it so that my family fits, my husband, my kids, because regardless of where I go, if they're not with me, then this is for naught. So with that, I do my best to never find myself in a situation where work becomes overwhelming. I always tell my students and my mentees, if your gift or your passion starts feeling overwhelming, if it's starting to feel like it's too much, then you're doing too much. Okay. Sometimes you have to step back, take a minute, allow God to do what God does, which is turn things around, which is work things out. That's what he does. Yeah. So it's okay to take a break for self. Yes. It's okay to say, you know what, guys, let's do some vacation time, even if it's a quick weekend to Daytona Beach. Yeah. Something where you're still interacting with your family, you're still getting J time, me time, and you're still balancing your work as well. I look at it like this, there's God, me, family, then business. Right. And the reason why I come right after God is because if I'm not good, everything else falls apart. Correct. That relationship between me and God is priority number one. Correct. So that from there, I can be a good mom, I can be a good wife, I can be a good steward.
Because you're whole.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can be a good steward over the business that he entrusted me with as well. Right. So that's how I look at it. Finding that balance starts with God first. You and God and that relationship that you have with him, and knowing that, okay, today I'm exhausted, so let me try to organize my day or my week. Yes. So Monday, I'll take care of this. The kids probably have doctor's appointments. Hubby needs this. I gotta go grocery shopping. Moms, we have a list. But just finding that way to prioritize and balance your life and not feel guilty about it either. If you need me time. Yeah, me time and mommy time. And that guilt. A lot of guilt. A lot of women who own businesses really don't know, but they harbor a lot of guilt. Oh my goodness. But one of the things I heard you say, and a tool that I want a lot of people to hear too, is that she has things written out. She's organized. Yep. The way that you can be successful, like she said, when you have a business, is to be organized and to have the resources you need. You just hired someone, correct? I did. And tell us about that real quick, because when you were trying to do it by yourself, it was getting overwhelming. Yes. And then you identified, hey, I need some additional hands to help with this. And it's finding the right person. Finding the right person. Yeah. I am very protective of my business. As anyone who is a business owner, it is your baby. You have this vision that God is downloading into you every day, and you want to be able to bring people onto your team who not only can execute, but loves your baby just as much as you do. Just as much. It's just like when we drop our baby off to the daycare, we want to make sure that they're well taken care of. So we're interviewing the daycare. Right. We want to make sure, do you guys feed the kids? Are you changing their diapers? And then we're looking on the camera during the day, because I pops in. Right. I pops into my son's daycare, and I'm looking. Exactly. Oh, okay, he's playing, he's taking a nap. Exactly. Okay. All right, okay, cool. Same thing with me. And as time progressed, and I realized honestly that my business was growing, and it got to a place where, okay, Jay, you can't do 25,000 things at the same time. You cannot. And then still go home and think you're going to have energy for the kids and the hubby. Right. You're not. You're not. And one of my mentees, the way God works again, he's already putting things in place. One of my mentees, she comes to me, she's also a client of mine, and we were just having conversation as we always do. And one day she left, and when she left, I was like, that's my assistant.
Yeah.
We had just had a conversation about, transitioning the things she wanted to do in the beauty industry. And not only has she become my assistant and she's been amazing, but I'm pouring into her.
Yeah.
Everything that I know, better believe she's going to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to give her all the tools that she needs so that when she's ready to transition to her own, she's ready to go. So having that assistant was definitely necessary.
One of the things that they've heard me talk about, and I'll say it again, and I think that you just hit it on the nail, to whom much is given, much is required,
Yeah.
right? But then to whom much is given, you have to give that to somebody else.
Absolutely.
And I've told people many times, my team, I want them, one, to have their own business, and I want them to grow, and I want them to learn as much as they can from me.
Absolutely.
Because I am only here because women poured into me. Jocelyn Henson poured into me. Michelle Tatum poured into
That's
me.
right.
Colleen Castile poured into me.
That's right.
There's so many, Johanna poured into me. Beatrice poured
Yeah.
into me. Marie Gill. There's
Yes.
so
The
many
list goes-
women,
I know.
the whole team at MBDA in Washington, D.C. These are people who have poured into me because they wanted me to be successful.
That's right.
So not just so I could be successful, so I can
Right.
reach back and bring 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or 20 with
There
me.
you go.
You
There
know?
you go.
So I'm very glad. I think that's something that women need to hear is that, keep grooming other people, keep
Absolutely.
reaching back, keep reaching forward and reaching
Yes.
back. Make sure you have fortitude.
Yes.
I'm going to have a couple of more questions. What role do you feel beauty plays in everyday quality of life for a woman?
So let's go back to the name of my company, Goddess Faces by Miss J.
Goddess face.
Goddess Faces, I'm telling you. With what I do, I interact with women on a very personal basis daily. And talking to some women, one of the things I want to pour into them is knowing their worth.
Yes.
Knowing who they are in God's eyes.
Right.
Not just my eyes,
Right.
but God's eyes. Because in God's eyes, you're beautifully and wonderfully and perfectly made.
Okay.
And you have to feel that too. You
You
have to
do.
know that. You have to know that when you wake up. You have to know that you're deserving
Yes.
of happiness. You're deserving of love. You're
Come
deserving
on.
of taking care of yourself.
Come
You're
on.
deserving of whatever your heart's desire.
Right.
So when you feel that first, you start feeling like a goddess.
Yes.
And this is the reason why I named my business Goddess Faces. Because when you sit in my chair, it's not just about the makeup, it's about the experience.
Yeah.
So once I'm able to give you that experience and you leave feeling like a goddess and you another notch in understanding what your worth is, I've done my job.
Yeah.
So beauty is so important because you have to know that it's okay to get a pedicure.
Yes.
It's okay
Make
to get
time.
your makeup done.
It's okay to make
time
time.
for yourself.
I have a spa membership and I haven't gone in 3 months.
See, you gotta go. You gotta go.
I'm
We
going.
have to.
I'm going.
You have to make
going.
time for make time for yourself. Beauty starts from within. Knowing your worth is important, but taking care of yourself it's so important. You are a goddess. Remember that.
Okay. What are you are a goddess? What are daily and weekly routines or self-care that women should incorporate in their business, in their day?
So, one thing's for sure. Let's talk about skincare really quick. Makeup is great. Skincare is everything. Please do not sleep with your makeup on. Do not sleep with your makeup on. Incorporate a daily skincare routine that consists of a cleanser for your skin type. So if you don't know your skin type, make sure you try to find out whether you're oily, combination, dry skin, so that you're using the right products for your skin type. So you want to make sure you have a cleanser, a toner, a serum, and a moisturizer. Please make sure you're doing this daily. Mental health, taking some time to decompress, whether it's after work, after a long day, after a weekend. Decompressing is so necessary. Again, you want to always try your best to be whole. I always talk about an emotional reserve. Our emotional reserve is what we have available for in case something happens.
Oh, I like
If
that.
you don't have enough emotional reserve, then you don't know how to react to a phone call that says, hey, this client canceled, or a phone call that says, hey, your son or your daughter is sick at school.
Right.
Your emotional reserve helps you to react to that situation in a better, more logical, more rational way. So the way to do that is to make sure you decompress, make sure you're checking in on self. Every morning I wake up, I ask myself, how am I doing? I literally ask myself, how you doing, Jay?
Yeah.
And I go from there.
Yeah.
And the things that I can take care of, I'll take care of them. Anything else, I leave to God.
That's it. And knowing what you can do and what you can't do.
Absolutely.
And giving it and being able to tap into your resources to help you with things you cannot do.
Absolutely.
And let it be well with your soul.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
So you have a beauty line, and I want to talk about that real
do.
quick. Let's show the ladies what you brought to us today.
So,
And I'll hold
Goddess
some of it.
Faces by Miss J.
I'll hold the box. This is the box.
So about 2 years ago, I launched my makeup line, Goddess Faces by Miss J. And as an esthetician, you know, I'm very keen on what our skin needs. And in trying different makeup, myself and my different clients, very particular about the type of makeup they put on their faces because they don't want to break out. You know, they've had issues with different products. I decided to go into the vault and start doing some research, try to put together a great makeup line for my clients. I launched it 2 years ago, and now I'm relaunching it with even a more advanced formula. It's paraben-free. It's amazing on the skin. It smells great.
It's light. I don't feel like
light.
I have on makeup.
There you go. It's very light, very light. We don't want the heavy, cakey feeling.
I feel beautiful.
Yes.
And I have a shade that's just custom made for me.
Custom made for her, because once the site launches on November 1st, you'll be able to actually go online.
Oh, I'm going to shut down your site. I just want you to know that.
You'll be able to actually go online and take a quiz that will help to match your shade perfectly. And so I'm super excited about that, because then it doesn't matter if you're in London, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in Asia, it doesn't matter. You can take that test and we can match you perfectly. 24 shades of concealers and foundations, and 20 shades of lip colors to start. So I'm excited about that.
And I'm wearing shade, what shade am I? I'm wearing 113.
113, yep, shade
And
113.
so this is 113.
Beautiful pink.
And I love it. I absolutely love it.
I saw it and I was like, this is Kim.
Yes. You know, one thing about fashion is that you have to get to a point where you know your body shape.
Yeah.
But you also know what looks good on you.
Absolutely.
And I know that, and then you just embrace who you are. You get to a point where you just embrace who you are. And I know for me, people who know me, they know I wear bright colors, a lot of colors, because I got this big canvas. I got, you know, big eyes, big nose, big lips, big cheeks.
Gorgeous.
And thank you. But I just at some point embraced it. Let me just paint it.
There you go. Yes.
I'll do an ombre lip in a minute.
Paint it.
I will. And so it's good to know. I'm glad that I connected with you, because these brands are amazing. Your marketing, everything you do is just amazing. And we want to make sure.
This box, actually, this is when you order, this is the box that you'll get. And this actually acts as a keepsake as well. So you can hold on to this box.
Oh, yes.
And you can put your jewelry in it. You can put your money in it. You know, it's a nice quality made box. So
and it's good to
also a
travel in
keepsake.
too.
Yes.
Like I see myself putting my makeup in here, my makeup bag in here.
Absolutely.
And when I put it in my suitcase, it's not crushed.
Nope.
You know, so this is amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Please, and we'll have how to get in contact with you so they can order. But we do have some more questions. You own you provide a business school, and you focus on a certain demographics. But anyone can go to that school. Tell me about the business school. And then we're going to go into some tips, because we have women here, and the whole purpose today is to tell your story, but to give them as many tips as possible.
Absolutely. So, like I mentioned earlier, you know, on my journey in the beginning, and just throughout my journey as an entrepreneur, when I finally decided to take that step out on faith, my first year especially was that time where I was, you know, the obstacles were popping up, and not that they don't pop up throughout, but just that first year, which is your critical year of mindset building. God strategically placed me in the light and in the way of a lot of different mentors, people who poured into me at crucial times. My 3-month mark, my 6-month mark, my 12-month mark. And all of these people, whether it was business advice, business credit advice, growth advice, exposure advice, just marketing advice, helping guide me through the process, being mentors that I can call and talk to at any time of the day, sending me text messages, hey, how's it going today? How's the business going? I was so grateful for that, and still grateful for that I wanted to do the same. So the Beautypreneur Academy was birthed from that.
Beautypreneur.
Yeah. And my demographic on that is anyone who has just graduated from cosmetology school, barber school, esthetician school, and now that you have your license, you're kind of like, okay, what do I do now?
What do I do now?
Where do I go? How do I figure out this
Because they taught me how to do hair.
Right.
What about how to balance my budget?
How to balance the budget?
How about run a shop?
Do I rent? Do I booth rent? Do I get a lead? What to do next? And then when I have all of these things, how do I stay grounded? How do I keep going? If I need help, how do I ask? Who do I ask? Yeah. You know, because you're going to have those moments where obstacles pop up or opportunities fell through. Right. And you don't want that to be the basis that you now judge your entire journey on. Correct. Because that was just a hiccup. Right. You know, the speed bump. That's it. Just a speed bump. That's it. So teaching them positive mindset, how to keep growing their businesses, the things that they need to do legally, rules, regulations of the state, which are very important, zoning, just understanding where you can and cannot have a shop. All of these things are important. And so I wanted to be able to pour that into other beautypreneurs like myself. I also do training. Yes. So if you wanted to add another service to your services that you already have, whether it's microblading, microshading, makeup artistry, brow tinting, I train that as well. And then my students actually have me for 12 months after that for continuing education. Awesome. Yeah, they can call me, they can call, text, we can FaceTime. If they're working on a client and they want my advice, I'll FaceTime with them through the whole service. You know, just because for me, it's not just about teaching a new technique, it's also about building the confidence to execute that technique, you know. So
what's amazing is that you were working doing claims adjustment, going to somebody's office, you know, doing a task. Yeah. You went from doing a task to really trusting God. And now you have started a business, you've hired people to work for you, you're going back and recruiting more women to work for you who will be more successful, who are hiring more people to work for them. There you go. Who will hire more people to work for them. Who will then hire more people.
That's what we're doing.
Come on now. Come on.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
And so it's almost a Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman type situation where you had to go back. You could have just said, you know what, I got my salon, I'm doing hair, I'm doing nails, I got my Fendi bag, we're going on trips. Right. You know what I mean? Right. These are Gucci nails. Right. And live a fabulous life. Right. But you said, no, I got to go back. I got to go get more people.
Absolutely.
And then you got to come with me to the promised land. You got to come with me to this free space, free mental space, having your own business and being able to set your day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is what the whole mission for Women Empowerment Wednesday is, to let women know there are other opportunities.
Absolutely.
To build wealth. Yeah. And to be everything that you can be to your business. We have some questions. And Danisha is going to give us the questions.
When seeking mentorship, other women seem to be intimidated when I express that I'm seeking to start a business in their industry. How do you suggest I overcome that?
So she's asking, she's wanting to get mentorship.
She wants to get mentorship, but she's finding that other women, when she approached them for mentorship, seem to be intimidated by her pursuing a career in their same profession, as in maybe they're trying to...
A threat.
So here's my thing. One thing that I've learned on this journey as an entrepreneur as well, you can seek, but one thing about God is He will bring the right person to you at the right time. I'm not one who, for me, if you're in my industry, let's get this money. You know, let's work together, let's collaborate. And if we can't collaborate, I'm going to give you the tools to help you collaborate with someone else, or what you need to do to bring it to fruition for yourself. Right. Because that's how it's supposed to be. Mentorship is supposed to be me pouring into you so you can build your own, and me as a mentor understanding that your journey has nothing to do with mine. Right. That your journey is carved out by God Himself and uniquely created for you. So finding the right person, it may take time, but you'll know when that person comes. You'll know for sure.
They'll be open.
They will be open. They will be open.
And count it a blessing of those that don't want to mentor you.
Absolutely.
Because then you will see them again later. And you'll say, oh, you heard about me? Oh, yeah. yeah, my business is doing this and we're doing this now
Right.
and we have that going on. And I was just on this award show and I just got this certificate and my clients just got, wedding of the year or, makeup stylist of the year. It's just, things are going good, but be blessed. And you can't have grudge against someone that doesn't want to pour into you. Because they were not supposed to pour into you.
Like I said, God will find the right person and he will direct them to you.
Yes.
I do not chase my business.
Yes.
I have no reason to. He promised this to me at birth.
Yeah.
I am a steward over Goddess Faces by Miss J.
Right.
My job is to honor my business and to honor the clients that come into my business.
All right, look at that.
That's how that goes.
All right, do we have another question?
I'm looking to diversify my business. I would like to apply makeup to other cultures. Right now, predominantly the business is African American based. How do you suggest diversifying my portfolio?
Right. What I did in the beginning, I advertised to every and everyone. So in the beginning, I actually started doing a lot of different fashion shows. I did a lot of pageants. And that allowed me to diversify. My very first wedding was an Asian wedding. That was my very first wedding.
You were nervous?
You know what? I was only nervous because I think going into anything when you have a business, you have a little bit of nerve because you just want to do well.
Yes.
But I was ready to dive in. I'm kind of like, I've had people tell me before, you just jump off the cliff. And for
Just
me,
get out the boat.
Right. And for me, it's kind of like, my dad always said, you won't know unless you try.
Yeah.
So after doing that wedding, to this day, I still have that picture. It's on my website because that was such a proud moment for me. So you definitely want to try to reach out to different events, like whether it's fashion shows or even if you want to be trained by someone like me, I can teach you how to do makeup on different faces, different skin tones, different eyelid settings, because eyelids too, that's different. That's a different type of a thing right there. But definitely try to diversify your portfolio through different events. Like pageants was a big one for me because you have everyone from Black, white, Indian, Asian, it's pageants. So I definitely recommend just seeking different avenues so you can test it out. Even if you put out like a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And ask for diversified models and you work with another photographer to build your portfolio that way. I did a lot of that in the beginning. I have some really cool photographers that we're really good friends to this day, and we would just create photo shoots. We do a wedding, fake wedding. We do a fake wedding, fake headshots, just because I'm trying to build my clientele. So, we'd ask for, preferably Caucasian or even a diversified model, and people will start sending you because they want their, especially models that are trying to build their own little profile. Yeah, they want those headshots. So definitely do a shout out, say, looking for diversified models and hook up with a photographer and you guys just go crazy and start building your own portfolio that way.
One thing she said is very important is that you have to be an expert so that you feel comfortable in whatever you're doing. It was more just a different shade of canvas. It wasn't the fact that you couldn't paint. You're an excellent artist. It's just a different canvas. So I think that's the part about having a business is that you must know that you're an expert in your field. And that takes continuous training. One last thing, and then we're going to go into our next commercial break. And this question is important to me. What lesson have you learned the hard way, and how did you? And if you don't mind sharing, how did you overcome that?
My biggest lesson. So I am very much so a control freak. Everything has to be in order.
A-type.
And oh my goodness, I think after I had my kids, I slowly became AB, but I'm very much so OCD. And so as I was building my business, it was very hard for me to delegate. It was very hard for me to, like I said, even now finding an assistant. It took a lot for God to be like, girl, if you don't get an assistant, but that was one of the hardest things for me is really delegating and finding someone who I trusted enough to say, you know what, I entrust you with my baby, and these are the things that I need for you to do just to take some things off of my plate. Because I know there were days God looked down at me and he was like, so you just going to carry all of that by yourself?
You got it all by yourself?
All of that by yourself?
Go ahead.
So you're not going to, okay.
Go ahead, bag lady.
right.
You got
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was definitely me learning to delegate and creating systems as well, putting systems into place.
Yes.
There was one time where all my clients, they would have to call me for appointments. Now they can go online, click, 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 boom. It's done.
You didn't have to spend half your day just setting up the
Appointments.
next day
Right.
for the next day.
Right. Exactly. So definitely delegating, definitely getting an assistant. And like I said, again, going back to the original question about mentoring and mentorship, my mentee has been in my life for 2 years and now she's my assistant.
Yeah.
This is how God works.
Yeah.
This is how God works. And I told you, it wasn't until after one of her appointments that I was like, it's her.
That's it.
It's her.
Yeah.
That's how God works. But yeah, so that was my biggest lesson. Learning to delegate, learning that sometimes it's okay to have an assistant, someone who can help you on this journey.
Yes.
You know, and God is trying to show you, hey, you don't have to do all this by yourself.
Because sometimes, honestly, that's not your lane.
Right.
You know, I have Michelle, and I love Michelle. Michelle takes things off my plate. She helps me manage my calendar. She will say, "Did you drink water today?"
Right.
I'm like, you
Right.
know, but that is the lane that
Little
she
things
is
like that.
amazing
Yes.
in, because
Yes.
that helps me to be in my lane and do things in my lane.
There you go.
And
There you
so
go.
and my everyone on my team, they do things that they are proficient and they're
Yes.
excellent in
Yes.
their lane.
Yes.
And I fail when I try and jump in somebody else's lane. We're only supposed to drive in one lane.
I'm telling you.
At a time.
Man, oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm so excited that you were able to make it here today. Thank you so much.
you.
I know that the ladies that are watching actually had an amazing time hearing from you. We will provide your contact information so that they can follow up with you.
Thank
and
you.
I will see you next month.
Yes.
And probably a lot more, because
Yes,
listen,
ma'am.
y'all gonna see a lot of pictures of me today and for the next couple of days, because I'm gonna go all over the city and take pictures because I look beautiful, I feel beautiful, I'm fabulous. I can do anything today.
Yes.
I might run
I'm
for
here
president,
for it.
actually.
I'm
I just feel so fabulous today. But nevertheless, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, my love.
Our next commercial break is The Perfect Touch. Thank you. And see, that's why my lane. That's why I have Dianes. She's here to help me to stay cute, because I got excited in the moment of running for president.
There you go.
But it's The Perfect Touch Weddings and Events. So we'll be right back.
The Perfect Touch Weddings and Events is proud to present the Perfect Pop-Up Wedding Collection. Do you dream about an easygoing small wedding? A step above a standard elopement or courthouse wedding, pop-up weddings are budget-friendly, generally spontaneous, and less stressful to plan. Our team will organize all things ceremony. Your pop-up wedding will include a licensed officiant to oversee your ceremony, including when to exchange rings and vows. A florist will provide your personal flowers, including your bridal bouquet, and timeless, beautiful decor to define your altar. A saxophonist will entertain your guests upon arrival to get friends and family in a soulful mood. A beautiful serenade while you walk down the aisle and after your sealed kiss. A photographer will capture still images of your most treasured moments, while the videographer will prepare an emotional highlight film that will tell your love story of your wedding day from start to finish. Your pictures and video will be the closest thing you have to reliving your wedding day. You will toast to forever with champagne and have a sweet, sweet ending with a wedding cake. More importantly, you will have a licensed and insured wedding coordinator from The Perfect Touch Weddings and Events to oversee vendor logistics and the entire experience. Do you happen to need a venue? We can assist with that too. Our all-inclusive pop-up wedding collection allows you to float 11 stories above the city streets in downtown at the Balcony, Orlando. This venue offers your guests a view of Lake Eola and surrounding skylines. You simply will be responsible for what you wear and who you want to be there. Contact us today to schedule a consultation and learn more about our pop-up wedding collection.
We're back. We're back, and I'm so excited to have Diane Sears here with us. You were highly recommended as a panelist from previous panelists, two different previous panelists. So you come highly recommended.
Wow, I'm honored.
Yeah, I was, and then when you said that you would be here, I was honored. So thank you so much. So let's tell the audience about who you are, and just give a little snippet about who you are and how did you get here.
All right. Well, I like to joke around that I popped out of the womb as a journalist. So I've been a journalist since high school and knew I wanted to be a writer since I was a little kid. I mean, I remember my teacher when I was in 3rd grade saying, "Oh, you have a writer's bump on your finger. You're going to be a writer." And I said, "Yeah, of course."
I know this.
So I already knew. So I started off as a journalist at Florida Today newspaper over in Melbourne, and then back then it was called Today, so that shows a little bit how old I am. and then I was at the Orlando Sentinel for 9 years.
Wow.
And then I went off to start a magazine for women business owners. So I was working for someone else, and it was funded by someone else. And that project was canceled after about 10 months. And it broke my heart. It absolutely broke my heart. So then I worked for a tech company here in town for 8 months, and then I was laid off again. So then I thought, why am I working for someone else? I need to start my own business. Right? So I started Diverse Media. I didn't know what it was going to be called then, but I had a friend, an acquaintance, who kept bugging me and saying, "I want you to edit my book. I want you to edit my book." And I said, it would be a conflict of interest. And then I said, I don't have time. And so then I found myself really with nothing to do. And she said, "No excuses." No excuses.
That's what will happen.
Now it's time. And so I edited her book. And that book was picked up by a publisher within, we were just talking about it the other day. I think it was like 11 weeks or something.
Wow.
I mean, it took no time. And it was a book about hiring strategies. So she was my first client. And then she recommended me. And I've worked on so many books with Diverse Media. I stopped counting when we got to about 100.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I'm still helping people at all different phases and levels of book development. But the business has developed into doing other things. And today I'm writing scripts for movies. I helped write a TED Talk for an executive at UPS.
I love TED Talks.
Yeah, it's fun. That was real fun. That was like writing a doctoral thesis.
Yeah.
And
like
then having to chop it into.
Minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. First it was 13, then it was 8, and then it was like, no, it has to be 7. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So.
But there are so many great nuggets in TED Talks. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to have someone who's written those sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
I went to college and I have a journalism degree from FAMU. And so I understand how it plays a role in your creativity.
Yes.
And it also plays a role in being able to communicate effectively when you're a coach.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And it seems so. You are a coach and you are an entrepreneur, and we just heard your story. And so it was, you were going this place and you had to like turn, right? You know how you're going down the road, you got to turn because it's a dead end, and you went down another road and it was a dead end. And then you had to turn back around. And so, but you kept going. And you had some disappointments. You know, when you said that one job canceled, you were disappointed.
Broke my heart. Yeah.
You're going to have some broken hearts on the way to entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
And you just have to keep going. So one of the questions that I have, when you said you had to keep going, I want to talk about sometimes we need people to help us keep going.
Yeah.
So who was a person that empowered you along your journey, and how did they empower you?
That's such a great question. I would have to say my mom, and she's still with me today. She just lives about, 4 miles, not even 4 miles away. So she's here. I don't know if she's watching today, but hopefully. And my mom, and then her mother also empowered me. So 2 very different personalities. Everybody says I'm more like my grandmother because I love jewelry. I was always into jewelry.
Oh, I saw you, yeah.
When I was a little kid, I would hang all her jewelry all on me at one time, all the necklaces, and we have pictures of that. But my mom was such a strong person. She raised my brother and me almost single-handedly. I mean, my dad was in our lives, but not every day. Mm-hmm. And so my mom, she just taught me that strength.
Yeah. To keep going.
Yeah.
Regardless of the circumstances.
Yes. If she could raise us, living in the projects when we were little kids and just working 2 jobs and making sure that we were happy as a family. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I can do anything.
You can do anything.
Yeah.
I think once you start a business and once you decide that you're going to step out and start a business, you have to have a base of to go back to pull from, a strength to pull back
Yeah.
from. And for you, it sounds like it was your mom and your grandmom, and knowing that if they overcame the obstacles they had and they still made it a happy home, then you can make it through anything.
Yeah.
And I think that when we're talking to women businesses, a lot of times they think that I'm going to start this business and everything's going to be great, and I'll have, and I'll just have this great, ride out into the sunset. And that is not the case. And so it's important for me that I bring different women to talk to them about different experiences that they've had to get to the road to success. Because you are, by all definitions, the American dream. Right?
Thank you for saying that.
No, you really are. And that's what
funny.
we're striving for everyone to have.
Yeah.
Because you started in the projects and now you are a well-known author and you have done, impacted so many people. You came highly recommended. So I'm very happy to have you here. I have a lot more questions. I'm excited. So you are a well-known published author and coach, and you've written books, and we've talked about that. One of them is called Tapping Your Inner Entrepreneur, Making the Move from Employee to Business Owner. So can you give me maybe 2 or 3 nuggets from that book that you can speak to our audience about?
I can. First of all, I wrote that book as a contract for the National Association of Women Business Owners, and there is a local chapter here in Orlando, but it's all over the place. It's national. And so I was very involved. I worked my way up as a volunteer to be their Economic Development Forum chair, which was exciting. And that comes into play in so many other things I've done with my life since then. So highly recommend getting involved in an organization
Absolutely.
like that. So I wrote that as a contract for them, and it was sponsored by a bank, and so really cool to have that experience. The information in there, one of the main things I found was that that women are forming businesses and getting involved in business at a higher level than men, and there's a reason for that, because we want the flexibility in our lives, and we want control of our lives, and we want to be able to do what we want to do. And when I was working in corporate, I loved my job at the newspaper, but I knew that no matter how hard I worked, and I was writing circles around some of the other reporters or whatever, that I was only going to make 3% raise every year, no matter what I did.
No matter.
And I thought, is that what I want for my life?
You were in control.
Yeah. So, not that I made more money when I first jumped out, but,
Over time.
now I do.
I know, right?
Now I
Over
do.
time you do, yeah.
Yeah. So that was important. And the other thing I found is that access to capital is really hard for women business owners, and especially minority women business owners. As you know, it's difficult. And so the connections you make are key.
Yeah.
It's not about saying, where am I going to find the money? It's about letting other people help you, forming those relationships.
Relationships,
And we have
yeah.
to be out there doing what you and I are doing, and helping other people, because then other people will help you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
It's all interconnected.
So the 3 tips that I heard were, 1, you have to relationships. No. Relationships are everything.
Yeah, relationships are everything.
And then you have to be able to understand, going from an employee to a boss or to owning a business, that you want to be in control of your economic freedom.
Yeah.
And you want to be in control of your destiny, of how much you make and how much you're worth.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you want to be in control of your time. So going from an employee into owning a business is your time, the amount of money that you pay yourself, or how much you think that you're worth, and then developing relationships that will be key to the success of your business and your legacy. And so I think that is awesome. If you could talk to your 30-year-old self, what would you tell her?
That is a great question. I remember turning 27 and thinking, I have hit my, that was my favorite age. I loved being 27 because I knew I was an adult. I had enough money to do whatever I needed to do. And I was having so much fun. But one thing I didn't do was travel. And so I was just telling another friend how it took me until I was 50 to get overseas. I had traveled all over the United States. I had traveled in Canada. I had traveled in a little bit in Latin America, but I had never been overseas. And I was like, what am I waiting for? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now, of course, we can't travel because of COVID, but
Yeah.
but I'm overseas all the time now, and
Yeah.
it's fun. And that's what I would say. Travel. Just if that's what you like, do it. The other thing I would say is save money, because you know, I know that's you can't always travel and save money, but there's got to be a way. So
Yeah,
save your money.
There's a lot of websites like or organizations like Travel More, Pay Less. You can look at them up on Facebook, where you can find flights that are really inexpensive. You know, if you think about it, you can go to Don Frisco's, or you can go to any restaurant and spend $150, $200 for 3 people.
Yeah.
Or you could spend $200 on a flight to a city.
I know it, right?
And and you're there and back, right? So we put money in where we think we want to put money, but I think travel is important because it opens up your understanding of the world, more experiences. You learn to appreciate either what you have, or it encourages you to grind a little bit harder so that you can have more. But until you've gone and seen another culture, if you've seen the world, then you don't really understand.
So true. That is so true.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
If you have to know, you have to understand other cultures, and you have to understand how we in the United States are viewed by them, and then it helps you understand how you fit into the world. And
Yeah.
and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, but even from a business, right? So from a writer, from someone who is writing scripts or writing movies, when you're developing a character, you know, you want to have a character that is well balanced and
Yeah.
it has a lot more flavor. And because you've gone to other countries, you can do that. So when you run a business, it's imperative that you also have that experience of dealing with different cultures so that you can be a better business owner.
Yes.
So that you can
100%
provide
agree.
different services. Because we're no longer just in the United States. My clients are just in the United States. You just heard Jay say that she has clients in other countries.
Oh yeah.
You're impacting people in other countries.
Yeah.
And so nowadays with the internet and with social media and with some of the other things that we can have access to, we can have clients, we can provide services all over the world.
Absolutely.
So it's imperative that we know those cultures, those norms, those ways that we can grow our business, because I talked about earlier being diversified. And that's one thing you have down pat too, is being diversified. Yeah. Okay, so next question is, you're involved in a lot of different organizations, speaking of being diversified. And a lot of them you're in leadership roles. How do you find time to be successful in each role? And there's this word called balance.
I had to look that up in the dictionary because I wasn't sure.
A lot of people don't know what that is when you start a business. What's
I think
balance?
it's like when you're walking on a beam or something. I'm not really sure what
Yeah,
balance
well,
is
yeah,
about.
but the beam is it's narrow when you own a business.
So true.
It's wide when you work for someone else.
Yes,
It's
it
like
is.
the wide beam, like a construction wide beam on a highway I-4, right? But when you run a business, the beam is about this
And
wide.
it's so easy to fall off,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, and you have on shoes. You're not barefoot. So, so my question to you is, you know, you like you said, you're in a lot of different organizations. You're
Yeah.
writing books. You're coaching. You're traveling all over the world. How are you doing all these things successfully? Because that's one thing that when I did hear back, we asked for a recommendation of speakers and panelists, and your name came up from 2 people, and I said, well, tell me about them. And they said, oh, she's great. She go for the Greens, and she did this, and she's doing that, and everything was positive.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
how are you able to have such success in these different roles, with so many roles?
I have a lot of help. I'll just tell you that right now, a lot of help. So I brought some of my
Loved it. Let me
magazines.
see about I'm
So
your
this is
Vanna
I4
Black.
Business,
Okay.
right? So I'm the new editor and publisher of I4, and I've been the editor for about 2 years, and then just took over as editor and publisher this year. And I have a great team. There are 5 of us, and we are just getting ready to bring on 3 more.
Wow.
And that's really important. And so they take a lot of the pressure off of me. And then Diverse Media, I've had help on and off, but what I do is I run it as I run the company myself, and then I bring in contractors. And then that's, to me, you know, instead of having like a whole base of employees, that helps because the projects are so diverse. You know, one day we're writing scripts, and another day we're writing a book, and then another day we're doing a TED Talk, and another day we're doing a newsletter for, you know, a financial organization. So it's always different. And a lot of help. And you mentioned Go for the Greens.
Yes.
That's a nonprofit that I co-founded, and I brought these for you. That's a nonprofit.
That's our mayor too.
That's right, Mayor Demings wearing his mask.
He's wearing his mask.
So, so we, yes, a lot of help. And Go for the Greens, when we started that, Cindy Chase, my co-founder, and I, we started that 13 years ago. We, to this day, do not have any employees, and we do not take a paycheck. So we call ourselves like the dumbest nonprofit ever. But nobody takes a paycheck.
The most committed nonprofit.
Definitely committed. But at any given time, we have 40 different volunteers who are helping. And these are people who are so committed to helping women business owners succeed that they will throw themselves into this work.
Yeah, like Layla and Jeanette. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know them.
Yeah.
Okay. Layla Eagle and Jeanette Schutz, right? Two of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah, they work very hard for Go for the Greens.
Yeah, they do. So, so that's it. I mean, it just takes a lot of help. A big team of people all working together. Yeah.
So, what are some tips that you can give women business owners to repivot themselves during the pandemic?
Yeah, that's a question that we've been working on really hard. And when I say we, I mean all of my different organizations. I am involved with the Women's Business Enterprise Council of Florida, and that is the regional partner in Florida of WeBank, the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, which certifies companies as women-owned. So I'm the one who does the local site visits and kind of coaches people on how to become certified or how to use that certification, which is real important. We have been coaching people since day one, since the pandemic locked everything down. Immediately, Go for the Greens and WeBank Florida flew into action. And WeBank Florida, to this day, every Wednesday, we have a webinar, and so we present some things like, here are some tips you can use to help pivot. Here are some good examples of people who are doing it. Here are some corporate people. In fact, your next guest, Tanja Graham, has been one of our people who's been on. So we just, you have to look for opportunities. There are so many different ways you can take your business into a new direction in this new world, this new economy. I remember that right when everything happened, there was one company, and I don't want to put her on the spot, but she's involved in events. Okay, so she does events, and she said, "Yeah, I'm just going to wait because I know everything's going to work out and it's going to come back." And that's what I did. I was like, "Whoa!"
She's still waiting.
Now this was 6 months ago, and I was like, "Oh wow." So do you know what? She has invented a whole new company. So she has her company that's now doing really well. But she's also invented a new company, and she's going to be telling us about that on the Wednesday window, which is at 1 o'clock today.
Okay.
so I was really glad I could do both today, 2 Wednesdays. But so that's you have to look for opportunities. There are so many ways to reinvent yourself, and as an entrepreneur, we do this all the time anyway, don't we?
Yes.
You have to stay fresh and current. This is just, fresh and current on steroids. it's been hard.
You do have to stay fresh and current, and you have to look what's coming down the pipeline, and that's part of having a business plan, right? And that's part of making it be a live plan.
Yeah.
That you're revisiting, and so you're able to look at, okay, how do I adjust? Oh yeah, I did address this in my business plan, that if something like this happened, if a national disaster happens, whatever it is, how am I moving forward?
Right, a business plan. That's admirable. A lot of people don't have those,
and they should.
I know. Everybody should, and that's one of the things that was in the book too. And so when you go from an employee to an entrepreneur, a lot of times you're like you've planned it all out. You know exactly what it's going to be. You've set out your strategy and everything, and then the next thing boom. You're like, whoops. And
life happens.
That business plan has to be a living, breathing thing. It can't be set in stone because, when I was first in business, if something went a little bit off, I would get really nervous and I'd get kind of, anxious and pissed off. And you can't do that. You have to be flexible.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like the queen of flexibility. And sometimes I'm sure it drives my teams crazy because I'll be like, well, we could do this or we could do that. That's not a problem. And
because you've lived through work.
Yes. Yeah.
And every bad thing is not the end all and be all when you have a business. You learn to have, like Rihanna said, you learn to become bulletproof. and you learn to diversify. You learn to just let stuff just kind of roll off like water off a duck's back. If it doesn't break the company, if it doesn't kill you, then you just work through it and you move towards the next day.
We remember we found a typo in one of our magazines, and it was like, what? And it said like, put caption here or something. And
it was a note, and you actually left a note in there.
Right. And my team was like, oh no. And I said, you guys, if that's the worst thing that happens to us, it's not the F word. It's, it's everything's good. We're fine.
Yeah, you have to,
So
but you set the tone as a business owner.
Yeah, you do. You have to.
Set the tone that it's going to be okay.
And people can make mistakes. Everybody is going to make mistakes in whatever you're doing. But just pick yourself up and keep going.
Dust yourself off.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. I know that we have some questions, and she was cueing me to let me know we have questions. So, Danisha, what are our questions?
What does Go for the Greens do, and why is it important?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Okay, well, it's officially called the Go for the Greens Foundation. So it's a foundation that it was built on 4 pillars. It was built on 3, but we've added a 4th. So greens, green is for growth, green is for sustainability. We teach women business owners about sustainability. And then green is about teaching them how to play golf and use it as a business tool the way men do. And then we've added a 4th, and that's for our newbies in business, and that is our young women who are in high school and college, teaching them how to choose a career wisely. We would always love to see them go into entrepreneurship. Not everybody will.
Yeah, not everybody
But they
will.
have to be thinking like entrepreneurs in whatever job they're in. So that's what Go for the Greens is about. We started off having a conference once a year, every September at Walt Disney World, and it's always at the same place because people love to go to Walt Disney World.
And you play golf.
And you play golf there, and it's always nice. Maybe not in September, but but we sweat it through.
Better than June.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But so we've done that. So now we've branched out, and we are doing more stuff throughout the year with our mentorship program, with our golf program, and with our educational program. We're doing a lot more. So. And we are international. Every year, the Canadian government has sent a
delegate down.
Yeah, they send an official trade mission down to Florida to attend. We actually one time we had the White House when President Obama took office. The White House actually contacted us and said, "We've heard about what you're doing.
Wow.
Can we send someone to do a focus group with your women business owners?" And we said, "Yeah." I said, "Tell me a little bit about it. What you're looking to do?" And they said, "We just want to get an idea of what small businesses are looking for. Can you get maybe like 7 to 10? And I said, wow, that's going to be hard because everybody's going to want to do it. I said, if you can make it 20, you got a deal.
Yeah,
So,
negotiating with the president of the office.
So we had a room set up for them, and we said, only if you have a ticket can you get into this room. And everybody's like, please, I want to get in. So we had standing room like all around the outside, and we had a big table set up like a U, and they had a really robust discussion about what businesses are looking for today. It was really interesting. So stuff like that happens at Go for the Greens, and we always say that you're going to hear things through and at Go for the Greens that are more like cutting edge. We put it together because I mean I've attended so many conferences as a journalist and a business owner and a coach and a writer, and so I knew what I was looking for in how to make a conference that where people would feel welcome. And it's kind of like a community, and so we've got like this huge fan base now. It's pretty cool.
And to know you helped start that.
Yeah, it's a great legacy, and
It's a legacy.
someday Cindy and I will retire, and we've already tapped like, okay, you're going to take over for me.
That's
So
good.
yeah, we have lots of people we're mentoring to take over for us.
So you started this organization to help women to level the playing field by learning how to play golf, right? And to teach them how not only just to play golf, but to be able to be strategic on the field and on the turf and off the turf, on the greens and off the greens. And since then, you've had Disney come on as a sponsor. That's huge.
Disney and UPS were our primary sponsors. I have to say that Duke Energy, who's one of your sponsors, has been a sponsor since day one.
Yeah.
And we have this thing where we do the matchmakers, and that's what you mentioned, Layla Eagle. We go through Layla's company, Collider Management Group. but we do matchmakers, and that's one-on-one connections with the women business owner and the corporations. Yeah.
Yeah. She
So
told me about
we've
that.
had some great success stories, multi-million-dollar contracts, even for the
Well,
tiniest
tell them about
business
one
owner.
so that we're here. So, I mean, that's great.
We had one company that got a contract for, I think it was $4 million with NASA. We had another one that this was a tiny, tiny little company, and she said, why am I going to this? She just went because one of her friends told her it would be fun. And she got a contract with Disney, to sell her products at Epcot. That was a big deal.
That is a big deal.
And it was a long-lasting contract. I believe she's still there. So, life-changing things, life-changing.
Yeah,
Really cool.
and that's cool to. I know you got to feel a sense of like, just not only pride but gratitude and being grateful to God because He was able to take you, and now you're helping women and connecting women to corporations, and now they're getting $1 million contracts, and you're like, oh, this one got 4, this one got 1, oh, this one got this one. There's so many.
I know there are so many.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's motivating you to keep going, and where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, well, what's motivating me to keep going? Helping people has been so rewarding. A lot of people have children, and I have never had children. So you want to leave a legacy. And for a lot of people, your legacy is your kids and what they're going to do and how they're going to end up. My legacy is all of the success stories that I'm helping other people do, and it's so important to me. I love that.
Well, I have 3 kids, and if you feel like you want to financially adopt any child, I can give you a college student, a high school student, or a 3-year-old.
Oh,
Whichever one you want to finance. Or
which
whichever
one likes jewelry?
The 14-year-old girl who's in high school. Okay, so I will connect you offline, and you can be like an adopted, whatever you want to call
Grandmother, I suppose it would
whatever
be by now.
you want to call it. I'm here to help you in your life too.
Right.
So I have kids that you can get that whatever you need.
Wait, I didn't answer your question about what I want to be doing in 10 years.
I'm ready.
Okay, I want to be somewhere where there's no technology, where I can choose to write, like maybe an island off the coast of Scotland.
Yeah.
My boyfriend is in Scotland, so I can say that.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, so I don't know about 10 years, but not long from now for sure. And I want to be able to just relax and breathe and appreciate, look back. But I never want to stop working because I absolutely love what I do.
Because it's your passion.
I love it, and so I will always be involved in putting on events, helping people write books or writing books myself, writing scripts, all these fun things. And the magazine, publishing a magazine has been my passion for I can't even tell you how long. So it's been really fun. I love everything I do.
And I can tell just how you like smiling and with glee. And that's the thing. I want women businesses to know that if it's your passion, it will be in line with your purpose and you will be successful. You're going to have trials and tribulations. It's going to be hard, but don't give up. And I don't care if you're thinking about starting a business, you've already started the business, or you've been in business for 20 years. If you stay committed, if you steadfast on the journey, you will be successful. And people like Diane will come, or Jay, or you hear from Tandra will come into your life, and they will empower you, impact you, connect you so that you can continue to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. Okay, so thank you for coming. Is there anything that you want to leave with us before you, any parting words that you want to give before you leave?
I just want to thank the community. I love living in Orlando, and I think this is just such a great place to be in business. Don't you agree?
It's one of the top 6, they said, yeah.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
And I tried to move out of Orlando one time, and, I came right back and said, what was I thinking? Because I want to live near a beach, but, I just love it here.
Yeah.
And so, I feel good here. I think I feel comfortable here, but I also feel comfortable in other parts of the world, traveling. So, what I love about having a business like mine is that I can go anywhere and do it from anywhere. And I would recommend that to people. If there's any way you can work yourself into a business where you can do it from anywhere you go, or have people who handle it while you're off, doing your thing. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
But always remember where your home is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. Thank you for the legacy
Thank you,
that
Kimberly. I
you.
appreciate that.
Oh, thank you for the legacy that you have already established, and I'll connect you to Dakota offline. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. All right. So next we have our next sponsor break, which is Duke Energy, and next you hear from Tanja Graham with Duke Energy. We'll be right back.
At Duke Energy, it is their privilege, policy, and practice to proactively seek and build relationships with diverse suppliers. Through supply diversity, they build relationships with diverse businesses capable of providing commodities and services at competitive prices. Those relationships also help to strengthen economic and improve business opportunities for everyone. This is done by their three-point approach. Educate customers and employees, assist customers, and improve performance. Thank you to Duke Energy for supporting Women Empowerment Wednesday.
All right, we are back. We're back. We're back with someone that I truly adore, someone that I think is phenomenal. I had the chance to meet Tanja in my last role. I was director of the Minority Business Development Agency. It was a grant-funded program from the council, under the council, and she sat on the board. And ever since the day that we met, I was like, she is phenomenal. She has tenacity. And what I loved about the first time I met you, you were welcoming and you were warm, and you wanted to know who I was and kind of what I could bring to that position, and then how could you help me? Since day one, you've been in a position where you just wanted to be able to pour into me.
Absolutely.
And now my cup is so full of, of you helping me, and I'm so like on everything that I breathe. I am so appreciative of you. I still consider the blessing that God allowed me to even be in your life and cross your path. So I'm so happy that you're here. I'm glad that you had the chance to come. When I contacted Tanja about Women Empowerment Wednesday and I was starting this initiative, she was like, okay, got you. Okay, just some information. And it wasn't even a thought. She was like, I know I'm going to support you. Let me figure it out. And then she came back and said, okay, we can do a sponsorship. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's get going. And so we're here, and we have had been able, just because of your willingness to be obedient to your cause and to your purpose and to the resources that you have, through Women Empowerment Wednesday, we've been able to touch women all over the world, including Africa.
That is awesome.
We have had viewers that are watching this show that you have sponsored in other countries. And so your contribution to Women Empowerment Wednesday is bigger than you know, and I wanted to wait till you got here to tell you that.
Thank you, Kim. That is
awesome. So with that, I want to go into tell us who you are. Tell us about Tanja Graham, other than this phenomenal queen, and you just say her name, and anybody in the southern United States loves her. So tell me about who you are.
Well, thank you, Kim, first of all, for all the kind words.
No, it's the truth.
And I do want the audience to know that it's hard not to support such a brilliant Black queen. And when I saw her and she opened her mouth, I'm like, whoa, who is that? And, so we built a relationship, we built trust together,
Yes.
and I saw what she was capable of. She had a heart to help.
Yes.
A heart to serve, and she was great, excellent at what she did. And everything that she did was a spirit of excellence.
Thank you.
And I admired that. I trusted her, and it's, even in the position of MBDA, I felt so great referring suppliers and clients to her, because I knew that she was going to take care of them. Yes. Even if it was one piece of something, she was going to help them. And I always get emails back or texts back. It's like, Kim was phenomenal. She helped me out so much. Thank you so much. And since then, when she started her own 3D strategic management and she did her opening, I was there.
She was.
I was there. I knew that she was gonna, do the doggone thing.
She was there.
And
And you stood up. You was like, let me say some stuff here. And I was like, well, okay.
I sure did.
You know, because I was afraid to ask people to say anything. So I did have this program. It was at Seasons 52. It was on a Sunday. I was like so appreciative that you came and other people came. And you was like, okay, this is cute. Let me do a testimony. Let me stand up. And I was like, well, y'all recording this? Y'all got this? Somebody? Yes. I was so in awe.
It was great. And then, I always remember what her mom said. She said, listen, if there is supposed to be 12 eggs in the basket, Kim is going to make sure that all 12 of those eggs hatch. Every single one of them. And you see, I still remember that.
Yeah.
I was like,
Count on my mom.
That is the best description of Kim and what I've seen of her.
Right.
So, I have to give her encouragement as well. It was really a no-brainer to support 3D Strategic Management. Duke Energy is supporting a woman-owned business.
Right.
Yes, she's a new startup, but I had to check with my boss, and I said, listen, I believe in this. I want to do this.
Yeah.
I know we don't do it in the middle, of a time frame, but I want to do this.
And I appreciate that.
So,
but that speaks to your legacy.
You sold yourself.
Oh, well, thank you. But you're always advocating
Yes.
for everyone. You're advocating for the least of us. You know what I mean?
I love it.
And that's your legacy. That's one of your
Yes.
legacies, that you advocate for the least of us. And God says that he wants to reward those that advocate for the least of us. And he has been able to do that. So let's talk about the first question.
Okay.
How does a girl from Jones High School, them Tigers and Fighting Tigers, right?
Mighty Tigers.
Okay, we got two in the building right now. We got a former cheerleader back over there.
Awesome.
How do you go from Jones High School to become an executive of a major corporation? And I want to say this, in energy. We're not talking like a corporation in something else. This is energy, where there's not a lot of minorities, one, women, two. And so briefly share your story.
I want to share my story because it is a testament of what faith in God and what God is able to do. From a little girl growing up in a poor neighborhood. I mean, we thought we was rich because of the love we got, and mom took care of everything. But first, let's start with Jones. Okay, I want to tell this story that we were one of the first classes, 9th grade, that migrated to high school. And no offense to Evans, I started at Evans, but then me and my best friend was like, it's going on at Jones. And back then, you can go to any school you really wanted to and catch the bus. So we had a bus stop for Evans. We had a bus stop for Jones. So we took it upon ourselves that, hey, we were going to Jones 10th grade through 12th grade. And what a great decision. Jones High prepared me for the pride that I had, and integrity and the familyness of the teacher, and it was a legacy in itself. And I tell you, I learned so much going to Jones, and it really catapulted me to be able to get a scholarship. Guidance counselor came to me and said, hey, you're awarded a scholarship by Jacobson Goodman.
Wow.
Believe it or not. And that kind of led me to want to do legal. Really, I was like, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And so like I said, I took a year off. And again, I just want to talk about the Jones High and what all of that did to me, the support from the teachers, the principal. They kept me on track. I mean, at one point I wanted to, start skipping school, and then that was family. They were like, okay, they're calling me, snatch me back. And the teachers let me know what I had in me, and do not waste it.
Right.
So that was great. So I basically started at UCF. I ended up going to UCF. I was accepted to Tuskegee, and also to Clark's Atlanta.
Okay.
But I guess the money or scholarships were there locally at UCF. So I ended up going to University of Central Florida, getting a degree in legal studies. So I thought I wanted to be an attorney and a lawyer. And let me tell you, I got pregnant my second year at UCF. And I will never forget that my grandmother, now she's from old school, they were all so proud of me. They were counting on me to be the first. I was the first to graduate, first to go to college, first to get a bachelor's degree in the family.
Wow.
So a lot was riding on me.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell this story. When I got pregnant, she was the one I didn't want to tell.
No.
And like I said, she's from old school. She said, well, now you're going to have to drop out of college. That's what she told me.
Right.
And you're going to have to get a job because you got to support your baby. And so when I heard that, it was just, I was like, I got to prove her wrong.
Yeah.
That was me. That's always me.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this is not going to be my destiny. So me and my mom, where I am now is my family.
Right.
So my mom decided, I'm going to stop working during the day. I'm going to work at night.
Wow.
And you're going to go to school.
You're going to continue.
And I'm going to keep the baby during the day. And I work full time as a single parent. And I went to school full time. So I always try to tell my kids, my daughter's like, she can barely go part-time. I'm like, listen, honey,
all things.
I work a full-time job. Yes, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. What's going on? I did that. I was a full-time mom, single parent, and it was God. It was God that was there all along, Kim. And I started at Duke Energy as a single parent and as a contract employee.
Wow. Not even a full-time employee.
I wasn't a full-time. I wasn't a permanent.
No benefits.
I was temporary. So they thought. But God. He saw it differently. And so I don't know if Cynthia is watching. Henry. She was my first role model that I saw. She hired me. And she was she's retired now. She was the manager of the credit department at that time, and I had an interview with her. And she took a chance on me. I had no experience. I had customer service. I was doing that, but I had no experience in utility.
Right.
She took a chance on me, and she hired me. So if all of you know, she was my first mentor, and I've seen this African-American woman in corporate, in a manager position, making hiring decisions, and I was like, I'm gonna be in that place. I'm gonna do that. So she was really supportive. She was a great mentor to me, and and I'm going to tell you how God works. The credit department, there was a decision made. She moved to another department. The credit department, they were closing. And it was about 7 temporary employees that they had. So they had told us that, listen, everybody's going to be done by this date. In a month, we're letting go of all the temporary contract employees. And so at that time, my faith and the spirit was like, work harder.
Yes.
Don't be disgruntled.
Yes.
And act like you belong there.
Right.
And when they said that to me, I was pretty much the only one. I didn't even look for another position. I didn't.
On faith.
On faith. And I wasn't led to look for another position. So I kept working, and I kept, and it still was like, okay, the end is coming, and you're going to be let go. A lot of the temporaries had left, or they were very disgruntled, so they weren't really. They were calling in. I was there every day on time.
Integrity.
Yeah,
integrity.
The new manager at the time and the folks that I worked with advocated for me. They said, I know that we're ending the temporary, but can we keep Tanja?
Yeah.
And they spoke with the manager at that time, and I was the only temporary employee that they allowed to stay. And that was the beginning of my journey. And then I propelled myself and I became permanent. And then when the credit department was moved to St. Pete, the manager of the call center knew of me, heard of me, and said, I want her to be on our team. And it went on from there. My career chose me. Yeah. I still was going and pursuing the opportunity to be an attorney. And I realized after so many years and then research that that really was not my destiny. Yeah. And once I realized that, I made the best of where I was at. So I just, continued with the integrity. One of the things that I did was anything that they offered that they were going to be teaching us or learning or training, I jumped on it. Yeah. I was on the scene for everything. And so that's a recommendation that I certainly can give to any of the young women out there is anything, because it makes you indispensable. Yeah, when you know things. Yeah, when you know things, and it really is. So I went on to become a supervisor, the only black, the first, not the first black, but the only black supervisor in the call center. Wow. And customer service is really the foundation. It prepares you to do anything, I feel like, is if you have the customer service. Yeah. You have the conflict resolution, you can deal with different things.
Crisis management,
Crisis management. We had to learn, and people don't know, with customer service at Duke Energy, you have to learn everything. You have to learn how to do energy efficiency. You have to learn how to break a bill down and be able to read a bill and do calculations. You have to know about wiring at the customer's home. It's a lot that you actually have to learn. So it was so many skill sets that I was able to learn.
And empathy.
Learn
empathy. You got to master empathy.
I knew you were going to keep me on point, Kim. Help me. You had to learn empathy. Yeah. And I want to finish telling this story because once I made it to the supervisor position, I think I was pregnant with my second. When I got the position, I was pregnant, and I had a difficult pregnancy, and I was like, oh wow, I'm pregnant and I'm sick, and I felt so bad, but I struggled, and I realized I did have a hypermesis. I didn't know, it wasn't diagnosed then, but apparently it was a something that they diagnosed where you have morning sickness 24/7. It's something that you can actually die from, but at this point it wasn't diagnosed. I was working through all of that during that time when I really should have been on bed rest. So you talk about prayer and God just leading. So I worked in customer service supervisor 7 years, and then I decided I wanted to do something different. I really took the path that's least taken, and it was a position that most men would do. Yeah. So it was being a energy efficiency advisor, and it paid kind of the equal pay of a supervisor, but I needed a change. Yeah. And it was one of the best things that I could have done because it's propelled me to actually be here. So I climbed in attics. Let me tell you, I diagnosed air conditioner issues. I went on to do commercial, and I was doing my thing with commercial energy efficiency. I was learning so many things in that position. And, I just needed that change. And I was going face to face. So I was not behind the phone, but then I was going into people's home, and I was the face of Duke Energy. Yeah. And it was an amazing experience. We had, for that position, you had specific surveys that when you went into the home that the customers would answer about you. Yeah. I always scored in the top quartile.
I'm sure.
It was difficult.
No, but I'm sure.
But it's very rare in the top quartile, and which was so interesting to the point that it led me to actually run the program for customer satisfaction survey, and getting together and getting the surveys and how we can improve when we got back, surveys that were in the second or third quartile. So I was put in that position of leadership, and being over a successful program and having a lot of successes out of that. And then I will tell you, April Harley, which is my predecessor. You remember April? Most of you
She's
remember
over
April.
St. Pete, Clearwater, St. Pete.
Yes. So one of the things that I was effective at doing is asking leadership to allow me to be able to do shadow and do something different.
Yeah.
That was very effective. And I would say, make the case for it.
Yeah.
You can make the case, pros and cons, and let them know what you're going to be able to do. So I was able to get my boss, we had a great relationship at that time, to allow me to go out and do things for supply diversity. I met April. I was intrigued by what she was doing. I was like, I want to learn. I want to, go to these events. And so I actually was able to get paid and go with her and go to these events. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. You have a great job. Yeah. And what exactly do you do? And she told me that, I help minority suppliers, diverse suppliers get business with Duke. I said, wow. I said, she said, contracts. I said, oh my gosh, really? And she said, yeah, $1 million contracts, and we have a supply chain. I worked for Duke. I'm 24 years, and I can tell you, before I got this position, I had no clue of what our supply chain did or what was taking place. That was just foreign to me. So I shadowed her, and when she decided that she was going to leave the position, she recommended me to her boss. And there were a couple of other candidates. Her boss, it was destiny, flew all the way down. I didn't have the position, but it's just something that she wanted to do. She flew from Charlotte, North Carolina, just to have lunch with me to see what I was about. And now she tells me that encounter, that lunch date, she knew I was the one that she was going to pick. And it was about the integrity. It was about the enthusiasm.
You do.
It was about, working hard.
You do.
And the just the faithfulness, just all the characteristics.
Yeah.
She said, the other stuff we could teach.
We could teach you.
She said, but you've got what it takes,
Yeah.
to be able to do this position. You're a servant. And you have a servant's heart. And that is what this is all about. That I at first was reluctant. I didn't even think I would get the job. I was just like, I love the job that I was in. And I was just going with the flow. And I got the position over some others who were, I guess, had experience. And it was amazing. And I just feel like it was God's plan, you know, and one of my scriptures is, I love in Jeremiah is, I know the plans that I have for you. They're good and not evil.
That's
you know, that you should prosper and be in good health.
Come on.
And I said, okay, Lord, if this is you, I prayed, should I take give me a sign.
That is the entrepreneur prayer too. It's like, okay, if you tell me to get out this boat, what you want me to do?
Oh my goodness.
So
I know I'm off.
No, you're not. But I need to hear that. And it's the reason why I need to hear is because two things. One, you didn't allow someone else to define who you are and your greatness.
Yes.
When you became pregnant, you didn't allow anyone to define what your life was going to be. You defined what your life was going to be, which means you had to work harder, be more strategic, and to take every opportunity you can to train and to become better at any opportunity that came your way.
Yes.
And you've done that consistently. You got into a role. You didn't let the fact that everybody else in the team thought they was going to be fired. You didn't let that scenario define who you were going to be. You worked harder, you trained. Every role you got in, you didn't allow someone to define you because you knew who you were and you knew whose you were.
Yes.
Okay, come on.
Yes.
All right.
Hello.
Okay, I'm going to go with the questions. Okay. What do you find most rewarding about your position?
The most rewarding thing about my position is that I can take what others deem as the minority to become the majority.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, I'm always, and you hit the nail on the head, you kind of said it. I've always, throughout my career in life and growing up, I like fighting for the underdog. Yeah. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
I love proving, people wrong.
Yeah.
I'm a servant leader.
Right.
I rejoice in other successes. I'm not jealous. Many of my friends will tell you that I'm giving, and I want to help. And what's rewarding is that I can see before my eyes is that the suppliers, giving them, they don't have, our diverse suppliers don't always have a seat at the table. Right. They don't always have the tools. Right. I know about the tools. Right. And so what's rewarding is that I can give them the tools that they need so that they can not only sit at the table, but that they can eat as well. So me being able to serve and to help and to mentor, I always wanted to actually be a teacher, but like I said, when I wanted to follow, I thought an attorney made all this money. Right. So I was, as young, you want to do something that gives money. Mm-hmm. So in this position, I can do what I always wanted to do, is teach and serve.
And I think that when you talk about rewarding and making sure that clients or putting small and diverse businesses in a position, can you tell me some key things that businesses, when they're being selected for contracts with Duke, what are some 3 things that small businesses need to know about being successful as far as bidding or going after contracts with Duke? Okay,
that's a great question. Yeah. So here's what I want to make sure, that even if you're a small business, it doesn't matter, there are opportunities that come up. The main thing that Duke Energy looks at, and our sourcing team looks at, and I look at as well, is that you are risk adverse. Mm-hmm. Okay? We do not want to do business with a company that will pose a risk. You do not want to do business or follow anyone that is risky. So we don't want any risky business. Right. So what we look at is your financial stability. We look at your revenue. Mm-hmm. We look at your operational and expenses. We look at your assets. Mm-hmm. We look at even the number of employees that you have. Mm-hmm. And that's really critical, because it just depends on what the bid is about. Do you have enough support to handle whatever that project or contract is going to take place? So we are looking at the number of employees of employees that you have.
That's important.
So your finances is definitely one of the things that we look at. Another thing that we're big on, if it applies, is safety. So for our line of business, safety is imperative. And Duke has one of the highest, I would say, safety standards. And for small and diverse businesses, I don't know if they really think about that all the time. Mm-hmm. And even if you're not doing a high risk or medium risk type of job, you still would want, if you want to go in for a bid and be impressive, you still would want to have a safety plan. Right. And if you don't have a safety plan, you need to make a safety plan. Even if you're 3D strategic management, right. You want your employees to go home to their families every day without injury and or death. Right. So you should be talking about driving safety. Right. Before we open up any meeting that we have, one of the things safety, is safety that we cover. So I always tell my when I get some of my small businesses in front of our sourcing team and I set up meetings, I said, start with safety. Right. They're not going to expect it, but you talk about, are you in a safe place to take the call? Is your surrounding safe where you can get out in case of an emergency? Just something just as simple as that. Or you can talk about a way that people need to be aware of. Oh, it's 4th of July, so be safe with the fireworks and don't do this during Christmas. Just different things that you can talk to your employees about and have a safety plan. Yeah. So that's very important. Safety is very important to us.
And every company has a culture, or they have those things about them that are number one. So when businesses are looking to do business with Duke, safety is number one. Financially stable is another one, and understanding the culture of Duke. And I think one of the things that you just said, and I want to make sure they don't run past that, is that you connect minority businesses and small businesses to internally opportunities within Duke.
Yes.
But you also vet them to make sure they're ready.
Thank you. Yes.
Because everyone wants to do business with, they want a contract. Everybody wants contracts, right? Yes. But the great thing about Tanja and her role and her team is that they are your liaison and they're your cheerleader, your advocate. They don't want to be counselors, but sometimes they find themselves being counselors.
Yes, yes.
But they're one of your first stops in coming into Duke Energy because she knows everything you need to be successful to do work with Duke and to be successful in Duke. Can you tell them how they can register in your portal and how they can become to get connected with Duke?
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So if you want to do business with Duke, the first thing you want to do is register in our portal. You can go to www.duke-energy.com/suppliers. I'm going to say it again.
Yeah, and we'll put it up.
www.duke-energy.com/suppliers.
And it's a portal, so they go in and they register.
Right, it's a portal, and you would actually go in and you would put your business name, your information. You can put in financial information if you have it, what type of business, and we have you can select what you fall under as far as the business, and so it probably is like a 15-minute process.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say, if you're already registered, maybe someone's listening and say, hey, I've already registered. Well, if you have, you need to go back in and update your information. And the reason that that's so critical is because not only our supplier engagement and diversity team, along with our sourcing managers, go into the portal and they may be looking for a supplier for a certain project, contract, bid, etc. We may go in as well if if our sourcing managers say, we have a project coming up and we want you to find suppliers that can do X, Y, and Z. Well, I may have your business card, your information stored somewhere, but just in case, I may go to the portal if I can't find it. Right. If you haven't registered, then it's a missed opportunity. And then if you're registered in our portal, if a bid opportunity comes, they want you to be in our Power Advocate portal.
Yeah, so they know how they can find you. So a lot of times people just want to come to you and you're like, no, go register in the portal and then we can talk there, but do that first.
Do that first.
Yeah.
Do that first.
I'm going to take one more question and then we have questions from the audience.
Okay.
So this is a good one. What mistakes do you commonly see with small and diverse businesses and as it relates to doing business with Duke Energy? And you talked about being financially stable, but there's been businesses that have come to you and said, you know, Tanja, I really want you to put me on. I really want you to connect me with this opportunity. And they've gotten the opportunity or they couldn't get the opportunity. So what are some things, sort of some barriers that businesses, minority businesses, you see repeatedly, or some big red flags that maybe one or two that you want to speak to?
So common mistakes is not doing your research. So, and what I mean by that is you got to understand our culture. I'm not going to have the time to explain. I mean, I'll do the best I can, but it takes two. You got to do your part.
Right.
And one is doing your research to understand our culture, understand what we do, and understand what our pain points are. And that is a common mistake that I see, even when suppliers come to me that they haven't really done their homework, and then I'm kind of pulling teeth trying to figure out what they do and how they can help us. And so it's very difficult when you haven't taken the time to research Duke Energy, and you're coming and you want to do business, and it's a product and a service that you have. And then I said, well, can you 7 states? Can you do, you know, they'll be like, they didn't select me for the bid. Well, can you give this service or perform this service in all 7 of our states?
Can you change every light fixture in the state of Florida?
Exactly. In the whole state of Florida, not just in Orlando, Orange County, etc. And we go back to that. There are some contracts that are just for the state of Florida. But you got to keep in mind, a lot of them are for, we need this in all 7 of our states,
Right.
you know, to be done. So being able to know like what your capacity is, let me know if your capacity, don't say that you can do it and you can't. If your capacity is, I can do Florida and North Carolina for you. I mean, we had that conversation. I say, Kim, let me know Florida or is it North Carolina?
Yep.
Because if you let me know, then I know where I'm going to be able to help you.
Yeah.
And, you know, if an opportunity comes up, if you're a good fit.
Yeah.
So I would say common mistake is
Yeah.
not doing your research,
Yeah.
you know, before you say you want to do business, or even if you're doing that bid opportunity, what happens is you didn't get the bid because you didn't have the capacity.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to compete and you have to bring added value. So that's the other mistake is you may not be the lowest price. We are looking for cost savings, but what I see as a common mistake is that when a supplier gets that opportunity, they really don't articulate the things of value
Yeah.
that they can add, because you need to know that, hey, I'm going up against the big guy that's
Right.
probably going to be at a better price than me.
Right.
Okay. So if Duke isn't just looking at the price, then I need to look at what are some value adds that I can bring to the table,
Yeah.
where they look at all that together and then I may win the bid.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, even before the bid and conversations with the suppliers, you know, I always say we have a diverse supplier in place.
Right.
You know, to do this. We have other suppliers that are in place. So you got to tell me how do you
differentiator.
what's your differentiator? How
Yeah.
do you stand out? What can you bring? Is it technology?
Yeah.
Is it AI? And I always say, my CPO, Chief Procurement Officer, Melody Birmingham Bird, love her. She said that you, I'm losing my train of thought
That's
on
all
it.
right.
So
Miss Every Woman.
Yes, I'm every woman. Yes, I have to represent Bombay, Sunny Bombay, BlueBombay.com, Sonia Belgrave, giving her a shout out, and my dissent caller. Okay.
Okay, all
I'm
right
a
now.
dissenter. But no, I lost my train of thought there. But what I really want to say is that you just need to be able to articulate what you bring to the table and what your value add is. And I do see that as a common mistake.
You have questions? Okay. All right. Oh, we did ask all the questions. Okay, good. So we're closing out. Make sure that you stay for our post show. We're going to talk to Chandra more. We're going to take this on to the other side.
Okay.
And so you can go to our Facebook, Women Empowerment Wednesday, and you'll see more of Tanja. We're going to get more detail with her. We're closing out. Our next Women Empowerment Wednesday is November 18th. We're excited. I'm so happy to have Tanja here. We're closing out on this side, but if you come on over to Facebook, you get to see a little bit more, hear more from Tanja, the dynamic queen that she is, Miss Every Woman. Miss, I don't let nobody define who I am.
That's right.
So I'm glad that you were here today. I'm glad that you were able to join us this month for Women Empowerment Wednesday. Take care of yourself. Go get a mammogram done. Please take care of yourselves. And also look and see how you can diversify your business. So we'll see you next Wednesday, November 18th. And we'll have more speakers, more dynamic speakers to help your business grow. And more people from corporations like Tanja who can tell you about contracts. So you want to go into their vendor portal system. You'll find contract opportunities there. And also you can reach out to Tanja so that she can help you one-on-one with your business and identifying contract opportunities for your business. Tell them I sent you. When you contact Tanja, tell them I saw you on Women Empowerment Wednesday.
Join the movement.
And and now you're joining the movement. So you'll get that one-on-one assistance. And so that's the whole point of bringing Tanja here. One, thank you for supporting Women Empowerment Wednesday. But for those that logged in and supported Women Empowerment Wednesday, now you have access to Tanja and her team, and she'll be able to help you and let you know how you can personally do business with Duke Energy. So I'm going to provide her with a list of those that register for this event, and you'll be able to have access to her just because you supported us today.
Absolutely.
All right. So with that, I want to say thank you. It's time for us to wrap. My director is giving me all kind of cues to wrap it up, because she is in her lane. she is operating efficiently in her lane, and her lane is to make sure that we are on time and we're managing this program. So if you have a business or if you're looking to start a business, make sure you get your resources and your village strong. Just like Tanja was able to have her mom help her with her child, her first child. You have 3, right?
I have 3.
A girl and 2 boys,
Yes,
right?
a
Beautiful
girl and 2 boys.
Beautiful children. So just like she's always been able to rely on her village, starting with a strong family, grandma and mom, and then also moving to Jones High School and having a village at Jones, and then having Orlando to support you. You have to have a village. And so thank you so much for supporting me and my being part of my village and supporting Women Empowerment Wednesday. Join us on the post show. We're going to wrap this up. We're going over to the VIP room, and we're going to talk some more to Tanja. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon, great month. I love you. Be encouraged. God got you. Step out on faith. All right. Bye.